Hello, everyone. We're going to start watching Marvel's WandaVision episode 4. The reason why I have this and this in my thumbnail is because WandaVision. Get it? All right. Let's start with the one liner description that is on Disney Plus. Monica Rambeau, tasked with a special assignment regarding sentient weapons, goes missing. So let's take a look at what is going to happen in this episode. While it loads, check these out. All right, the Disney Plus logo appears, and there we go. Previously on WandaVision, once again recapping how Geraldine doesn't know what she's doing there, and the radio broadcast, not the broadcast, but the radio signal that Wanda received while she was hanging around with Dottie and cut her palm. Some more details about Geraldine not having a home in Westview and the intrusions by Sword into Wanda's world are recapped, like the toy helicopter, which was the only red thing in the black and white scene. And there we have it. The recap ends with Monica being violently thrown out of Westview because of Wanda's powers. All right. Okay, I'm sorry about that lull. It seems that this is a unsnapping happening. Okay, so basically we are taking things up right after the unsnapping by the Hulk, the first unsnapping. They are all coming back. So, right, people are basically returning to the world after 5 years of being in limbo, I guess, because the way it seems to happen is that people just don't recall where they were for those 5 years. Okay, there's chaos going on at the hospital where Monica has woken up, not just woken up, but actually re revitalized, I will say. Okay, so she believes that she just fell asleep for 20 minutes, but she's getting some bad news about her mom. But as is obvious with the loss of a loved one, she's in denial. Yeah, we know Maria Rambo is your mother, Monica, but okay, so she's been dead for 3 years. Right. So basically, we are caught up with the snapping. Okay, so they're just calling it that you disappeared. All right. And there we go. The Marvel Studios logo starts to roll itself out onto the screen. All right. So that gives us a couple of seconds or half a minute to figure out. Okay. So this basically makes sure that we are all on the same page about WandaVision's place in the MCU timeline. And it's obvious that it's a little bit after the Hulk unsnapped Thanos's first snap. Because the second snap by Thanos was used to destroy the Infinity Stones, and the second unsnap by Iron Man was used to destroy Thanos and his army. Okay, let's get back to WandaVision episode 4. We interrupt this program. Okay, Monica is trying to get through some security clearance. Okay, she's getting some sass from the security detail. But here we go. So 5 years have apparently made the acting director old as hell. Oh, and there we go. That's Maria Rambo's photo on the wall. J- so they are calling it the blip. It appeared in one of the banners on the wall as well when she was walking into the headquarters. Sentient weapons. I thought it was sentient world observation and response department. So the full form of the acronym SWORD is Sentient World Observation and Response Department. But I think they just said that it's Sentient Weapons and Observation and Response Department. All right. So Monica's mom built this place from the ground up. Let's see. And Monica is apparently joining in, and the acting director is welcoming her into the organization again. So he's trying to send her as a chaperone to an imaging drone, and she's trying to convince him that she's ready to join back. But now she's contained to terrestrial missions only. So I'm guessing that the outer space part of Sword's brief is still on, but I think because she has just come back from the blip, let's see what the positive takeaway is. Okay, so her mom believed that she would come back, but Monica is refusing to take her assignment, you know, very seriously. Let's see what riding over a freeway into a, I wouldn't say densely forested, but pretty well forested. New Jersey. Oh, okay. So it's New Jersey. All right. She has been sent to New Jersey. There we go. There is a bylane for taking the road to Westview. All right. And there is a police detail of the local sheriff waiting for her at the boundary of Westview. Jimmy Woo! Woo woo! This is, of course, Randall Park. I'll have to pause for a minute. Randall Park has been doing awesome things ever since he was on Fresh Off the Boat. And after developing his comedy chops over there for television, he obviously put in a great appearance on Ant-Man and the Wasp in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in which he was the parole officer for Paul Rudd's Ant-Man, Scott Lang, if you want to continue the MCU parlance. And now we obviously saw him in the trailers for WandaVision, and it was apparent that he is, I guess, he's traded jobs, and now he is in the Sword department, or at least the interface between FBI and Sword. So let's see what goes on. Okay. So he's tracking down a missing person who's apparently in the protection program. Okay, and he said this morning. So it seems that whatever anomaly has happened in the WandaVision town of Westview, which again is, so that is something that I did in my previous recap videos. So you can go ahead and check them out on my channel. All right, let's see. Okay, so the sheriff is saying there's no such place, and there's a huge billboard right behind him in the shot which says Best View. So that seems kind of counterintuitive. Yeah, so Monica is looking at it. This is so the sheriff is from Eastview, and they are refusing to acknowledge the existence of Westview. Monica recaps it pretty well in one sentence. Nobody on the inside of Westview can be reached, and nobody on the outside wants to acknowledge its existence. There was a very specific number of for the population given out by Jimmy Woo. I don't know if that's going to be relevant, but the town seems, devoid of population. But other than that, it seems pretty all right. All right, they are unpacking. Okay, so I guess this is going to be the helicopter that they're going to send in, and which, yep, it has the sword logo on it. I think it says S57 on the side. The SUV of Jimmy Woo. I think this was the SUV that Monica arrived in. So the SUV also has the S and a number imprinted on it. All right. A personal connection to what, Monica? She says, okay, the helicopter or the imaging drone, as they put it, has disappeared. Okay. Yeah. So there is some sort of a force field that is now apparently. So even the force field reinforces that sort of a. If you are old enough, you'll remember cathode ray tube TVs. When we used to switch them off, they used to have sort of an RGB. They used to have an RGB afterglow with on the screen. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Okay, so there goes Monica into Westview. Scene cut. All right, so Jimmy Woo is left stranded outside. He has he has lost Monica Rambo to Westview, and or perhaps Wanda has kidnapped her into Westview. And one day later, 24 hours to be precise, according to the on-screen caption, there are there are four people inside an armored truck. The first one is Darcy, played by Kat Dennings, famous from Two Broke Girls, and perhaps more relevant to the MCU because of her uh, role in Thor, the first two Thors, I think. After that, I don't think she made an appearance. And it seems apparent that she wasn't blipped because if she would have been, I don't think she would be one of the first persons Sword would call in. Okay. Okay, so in 24 hours, basically, at the end of the last episode, when Monica was thrown out of Westview by Wanda, there we go. Sword response base outside Westview, New Jersey. So, like I was saying, at the end of the previous episode, when Monica was ejected, so to speak, from Westview by Wanda, she landed up near this base. That is why they were able to swoop in so quickly with their SUVs and choppers, like I've said once again in my recap video. All right, they are sending in another drone, and there it goes. It's disappeared into the force field. Okay, so she is cutting through the bureaucratic mumbo jumbo of highly classified, and just straight away says that they don't know anything yet. Some smart quips. So she's hooked up her equipment and getting something on her screen. All right, let's see what these. she's picking up some cosmic microwave background radiation. And as usual, in her sassy character, she's shushing the sword person assigned to be her, I guess, right? Lugging some heavy equipment onto the table and hooking that up as well. Looks like a oscilloscope, you know? Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right. So I think what she saw on that oscilloscope type equipment instrument, I'll say, was a glimpse of one of the first two episodes, which were entirely in black and white. All right. So something different from what Darcy is doing. I guess they are sending somebody through this. Okay, so this is going to be the beekeeper guy who emerged out of the sewer and to whom Wanda said no before rewinding back and making herself pregnant. Because it seems pretty apparent that she's making up this reality to deal with the loss of vision. I made a couple of puns about it in my previous videos. All right, so Jimmy Woo is making some good points. Oh, apparently he plays softball for Quantico, the FBI, and that makes him pretty expendable. All right, their very highly classified, so to speak, operation is getting interrupted by the sitcom playing out on Darcy's monitor. Along, in fact, it even has those two antennas of old timey TVs. There we go. Darcy just said what I was talking about. Vision is dead. He did not blip. She says that. All right, there we go. Agnes. Yeah, so it seems like great. So Darcy is finally talking to someone who understands CMBR right at its mention. Okay, a bad boy might be a non-relevant term for an old TV. Okay, so Jimmy Woo makes a very meta uh, quip. He says the universe created a sitcom starring two Avengers. I think that's exactly what he said. And the other people kick into gear, trying to take stock of the situation. And Darcy is still waiting for a coffee, but it seems that it's not going to arrive. There we go. I think that's the end scene of the first episode. Right. Okay. So that's exactly the clip that we saw at the end of the first episode of Darcy making notes in a sword notebook and closing it. All right. Let's see who are the first two individuals. Oh, that's Wanda and Vision. So let's see if they are able to come up with more people who they can identify. Okay, so they've mapped out Westview and it. One second, I'm going to pause this. Okay, so Jimmy Woo, sorry, is writing clues about Westview, and the clue board about Westview by Jimmy View has triangulated to Westview, which seems under the heading of what we know, because the other one is what we don't know. And the first thing under what we don't know is Why hexagonal shape? So let's see what that turns out to be. I think it's pretty apparent that when they drop this kind of an Easter egg so early into this sort of an episode in which they're trying to give us an explanation behind why WandaVision exists as it does, is because they're dropping some hints about what's going to come next. So maybe the hexagonal shape plays an important part. I don't know. Also, from the credits that roll at the end of each episode, with the red, green, blue dots, the RGB dots that make up old television screens, because new ones have LEDs that can glow in any color. I think they were made with an hexagonal uh, lattice, so to speak. The electron gun in the cathode ray tubes used to make horizontal swipes across the screen at a refresh rate that allowed us to see moving pictures. But let's not get carried away into the old timey televisions because we've had enough of those in the first three episodes of WandaVision, right from the black and white 1950s through to the, I would say, excessively colorful 1970s. And uh, we are going to see more of WandaVision, but I don't think it's going to happen in this episode. Let's get back to this whiteboard of Jimmy Woo. I think I can see. Yeah. So from what we know, which says triangulated to Westview, 5 mile radius, and something known or unknown. On the other side is what we don't know, under which, like I said, why hexagonal shape. Below the what we know is who's behind this. It's a pretty easy guess that the heading is who's behind this, and the first specs are Skrulls, but they have a question mark at the end. So I don't know how long it's going to be till the Skrulls get into the Marvel Phase 4 universe. Uh, because Nicholas Fury is pretty well entrenched with them, as was shown when Far From Home, Spider-Man Far From Home ended. All right, so I'm going to. There is another heading called failed attempts, I guess, under which there is phone lines. All right, so they've identified the old couple who came for dinner, the Mr. and Mrs. Hart of WandaVision, who came for dinner in the first episode, and whom Vision helped by reaching into his esophagus and plucking out a piece of food to stop him from choking. Wait, I think I got a glimpse of the whiteboard, a better glimpse of the whiteboard. So I'm going to try and pause over there. Todd and Sharon Davis. Okay, if I heard that correctly. So Mr. and Mrs. Hart are Todd and Sharon Davis. It seems like there's a manhunt going on to identify the 4,000 odd people who have been captured by Wanda in her reality, like I have posited in my previous recap videos. And those people are kind of being forced to play roles in her reality. Okay. So Wanda is obviously coming up with characters for the real people in the Westview world. I'm just missing out on that larger view of the whiteboard that Jimmy Woo has so painstakingly created. I'm going to try once more and then we shall move on. Ah, almost. Nevertheless, I'm sure we'll take a better look at it in some upcoming episode. All right. Okay, we are getting another look at the whiteboard right now. Another person has been identified, the colleague of Vision at Computational Services Inc. We have been updating the whiteboard of Jimmy Woo, and the additions are why sitcoms? Is it the same time and space? Is Vision alive? Now that is, I think, the biggest question, right? Because if Wanda has the ability to destroy the Mind Stone and kill Vision in the process, can she recreate the Mind Stone and bring Vision back? Of course, this is just her attempt at dealing with the loss of Vision, as I've said earlier. Some things in the cast as Beverly. So now they are basically just taking the real, I mean, real people in the Marvel reality and relating them to the characters that they have been cast in by Wanda in WandaVision. John Collins is Herb, so the board of people filling up at a pretty fast rate. Oh, Darcy has got some. Okay, she has seen Monica. She has seen Monica, and so she drops her cup of noodles. It's a clip that we haven't really seen. It's Monica reading a newspaper in Westview. Cockamamie social experiment. Wow, it's been a while since I heard the word cockamamie in any media, and Jimmy Woo just said it to refer to one of the options of what WandaVision might be. All right, let's continue down this cockamamie road. Hmm. You're right. Darcy is right. She says that they're working with a scarcity of intel. But I think this episode is going to start to bring the in Marvel reality and the WandaVision in universe reality closer together, because especially after the end of last episode when Wanda obviously threw out Monica for intruding or for interfering with her make believe utopia, it's going to become apparent that either we need Wanda to come back to fight some sort of a bigger enemy, or maybe Wanda becomes the enemy for a bit, because I don't think it's plausible that Marvel will let such a fan favorite character become villainous in the true complete sense. There's obviously redemption, and there's always going to be some sort of uh, payback. Not exactly payback. Maybe I could find a better word for it. Some sort of a solution to her problem, which is, of course, that Vision is dead. All right, let's continue. We are more than halfway through this episode. Okay, so Darcy Lewis just said that Wanda washes her dishes once an episode and said barf. So I don't know if that is kind of a feminist poke or whether it's a poke at the predictability of old timey sitcoms, of which she seems a pretty big fan. But I think they're chalking out the strategy to get in touch with Wanda. Okay, so Darcy has a theory which will obviously be right, and I think it bears out the suspicion that Jimmy Jimmy Woo was the one who was trying to speak to Wanda. Ah, so the drone became old timey, according to Jimmy Woo, for production design, and more apt, according to Darcy, to render it useless. So obviously, Wanda has set one part of her awesomely powerful mind into dealing with these kind of intrusions, while the rest of her mind controls and creates WandaVision as she sees fit. And going by the trailers, I think the next episode is going to have some sort of a modern family, you know, mockumentary take on it. So if that brings us to the recent age of television, then I think within a couple of episodes we will be seeing what we saw in the trailers, that Sword is sending in uh, rams and bringing in lots of troops to try and take Westview's borders down, try and take the shield around the town down. So let's see what's going to happen. So after they've got the snapshot of the retro chopper, they're going to act on their strategy. They are going to try and get in touch with Wanda through the radio, which I which we know from watching the previous episodes is that it's going to work. And let's see how this goes down. She has left Jimmy Woo out in the open near the equipment, the transmission equipment. Okay, so Monica. Monica is obviously introduced as Geraldine in the poolside women's sit-in about organizing some sort of a fundraiser or some sort of a neighborhood event. There we go. It was Jimmy Woo who was sending that transmission over the radio, and there we go. There we see how Wanda started to hear what Jimmy Woo was saying. Who's doing this to you? I still think she's doing it to herself, to spare her brain from realizing the pain of Vision's demise. I guess this is a few days after the funeral for Iron Man's uh, character. Okay, so Darcy says it's mission failure, but from what we've known, oh, see, he says doctor to Darcy. So I guess that's a good sign. Because I think she was pursuing her PhD when she was working with Natalie Portman's character, Jane Foster, in Thor. Wait a second. This beekeeper guy is. Oh, okay, okay. So he's making his way through the sewer in a hazmat suit, and there comes that the RGB sort of border of Westview. Yeah. And as soon as he goes beyond it, it changes. The hazmat suit changes into the beekeeper outfit, and the connection line is broken. So he emerges in full color. He emerges from the sewer. There are Wanda and Vision. We are seeing it from a different angle this time. Oh, and Wanda says no. So let's see if the rewind is shown again. No, we skip past the rewind. And I think they are into the third WandaVision episode. Yep, they've already, yes, they've already progressed to the pregnancy. Yeah, so the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Yes, Darcy, it's for our collective enjoyment. The reason for skipping decades in the television genres. There we see Monica helping with the delivery of the twins, Billy and Tommy, who are part of the Young Avengers in the comics as Wiccan and Speed, I think. So it's obvious that WandaVision is setting up Marvel's Phase 4 in a huge way, but it's definitely taking its time. And I think in that way, it's good that they made this episode in a completely present day Marvel universe. Yeah, so Jimmy Woo says a reference to our reality, right? So I think it was high time that they. Oh, so Monica, they are recapping that part in which Monica tried to take a hands-on approach to Wanda and saying, "Oh, Wanda, come on, this is not real," and Wanda just completely refusing to. Okay, so Wanda is obviously making changes in real time in Westview, in the physical location of Westview. All right, and Wanda's very intense face is on the screen. Oh, we are back in the sitcom. The edges are expanding. In fact, the when we zoomed in on the monitor screen in the SWORD lab, in the SWORD response space to be technically correct. Okay, this is a yep. It's completely widescreen format, fully HD in color, and Wanda has fired up her powers in her hands. Right. So this is a different version of the scene from what we'd see. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. There we go. Okay, so that is how Wanda completely and utterly threw Monica out of Westview, even though she seems repentant and she's kind of aghast at what she did. So basically, she is trying to shut down her interactions with the real world, Marvel's real world. And there we go. She has fixed the walls through which she threw Monica. I mean, she threw her through a couple of brick walls and I guess a couple of fences before completely throwing her out of Westview. There we go. Vision is back, and Vision is basically now we are into the same. All right, Monica is out as she was in the end of episode 3. Now in color. So this is the same. Yeah. So now basically, so it is. And when she said she had to rush home, wait. Vision is still talking, but he's saying, "What is it? What's wrong?" But at the same, okay, now he's changed back. So when Thanos had killed him, Thanos had taken the Mind Stone out of his head and basically left a crater in there. And Vision had turned gray, and that was the version of Vision that she saw right now. But now Vision is back. No wonder it seems that you're just making this up just to suit yourself. She said that she has everything under control when Vision asked if they should leave and go somewhere else. Okay, so Monica said it's all Wanda, and I think that's the best summation of Wanda Vision. It's Wanda's vision to deal with the loss of Vision. Okay, they pick up the two babies. Vision switches on the television, and I think this is. Tung, tung, tararang, tung, tarang, tung. There's applause, and that's it. Directed by Matt Shackman, written by Bobak Esfarjani and Megan McDonald, I think, who I gave a huge kudos to for giving the Shakespeare quote, "All the world's a stage, and all women and women, when men and women merely players." So that was very apt in the previous episode, and this episode I think has confirmed most of the beliefs that WandaVision fans and Marvel Cinematic Universe fans had. All right, the episode and the usual multicolored, sort of psychedelic TV reminiscent. And see, I was this is what I was mentioning. there were hexagons making up these credits as well, the credit graphics. So, all right, I think that was a good 40 minutes of Marvel chatter. And let's see in the next episode. I'm pretty sure that we're going to be seeing the Halloween costumes that are very authentic from the comic books that starred Scarlet Witch and Vision. And we're also going to be seeing a lot more overlapping between Marvel's real world and Wanda's fake world, which she has pretty obviously created for her own benefit. I just hope that she does not go down that villainous path too much before she is redeemed by the combined efforts of Jimmy Woo and Darcy Lewis and Monica Rambeau. How could I forget? All right, then. Thank you all for watching whenever you're watching this. And it will be awesome, Max, if you'd subscribe. If you liked what you saw, might as well say it again that I have now got my book out on Amazon. The link is obviously in my YouTube channel about page. So there is it. See you all next time, and a great time to bring this live stream to an end. A great shout out to everyone who loves Marvel, and goodbye. See you all next time. Maybe.